So welcome everyone to today's session, Implementing Better CX with Generative AI. We'll be diving into the transformative technology that is set to redefine customer experience, generative AI, and talking about how it can help you implement better customer experiences. I'm Pernille Hansen, your presenter today, and I'm a product marketing manager at Ultimate. My role involves understanding market trends and customer needs to ensure that our products are aligned with what the market truly requires. Today, we'll be discussing what generative AI means for the future of support, and I'll be providing you with a few tangible examples, use cases for generative AI, showing you a few demos of our solution along the way so you can see it in action, to bring it to life. And then we'll end on a bit of future gazing, and I'll show you how you can test the product for yourselves. I'll also be joined by my colleague Erica. You'll actually see two Ericas in the chat, but they'll be looking out closely for any questions that you might have, so feel free to put them directly in the chat. And then we'll also have a bit of time at the end of the session for a Q&A if there's any questions that we haven't been able to answer as the session has gone on. As I mentioned before, we'll be recording today's webinar, so you'll get a copy in your inboxes from CDI, so keep an eye out for that if you do have to drop early or had any colleagues who couldn't make it today. So before we get into it, I'd like to introduce Ultimate. We are the customer support automation platform that enables you to automate 60% of your digital support channels. We're a team of 150 people working hard to elevate automated experiences and humanize interactions with AI for customers all around the world. And we have offices in Berlin, London, and Helsinki. And going by the top ratings, we're consistently awarded on G2, and our eNPS score of 80%, we're not doing too badly. We have the privilege of working with some amazing brands. Everything we launch at Ultimate is designed and built in close collaboration with our customers. So you'll see we've got airlines, telcos, software, health tech, fintech, e-commerce, because customer support is truly horizontal across all sectors, as are many of the challenges that come with it. So hopefully you relate to some of those sectors that you see there on the screen. And today we'll then be talking about how generative AI can help support and alleviate some of those challenges. So let's dive straight into it. What is generative AI and what does it mean for the future of support? Generative AI is a branch of artificial intelligence capable of processing vast amounts of data to create entirely new output. So it works by training models on large data sets, for example, large language models, or LLMs as they're referred to learn patterns and relationships. They then use this learned knowledge to generate new content that is both original and creative. And that content can range from text to images and videos and even audio content. And so I'm sure we've all done it. I put it into ChatGPT to ask me, how can I explain generative AI in an engaging way? And what it came up with is, imagine you have a magical assistant that not just brings you coffee, but one that actually creates and innovates on its own. So it's like having a wizard in your computer. And then I also put a more down-to-earth version if people weren't into wizards. And it compared it to like a super smart co-worker who doesn't just follow instructions, but comes up with new and innovative ideas. That kind of gives you a flavor of generative AI. But then from wizards, super creative co-workers, to the hard facts and figures. LLMs and generative AI aren't a passing trend, not like our Blu-ray DVDs or mini disc music players, for those that remember them, but they in fact represent a paradigm shift. The global market value for generative AI was 7.9 billion in 2021 and is expected to reach 110 billion by 2030, an exponential increase. And in our most recent survey, completed by CX leaders across various industries, 75% report that their trust in AI has gone up in the last year, and 80% of CX leaders report that they plan to try generative AI in particular in 2024. And whilst we're here talking about facts and figures, I've got a quick quiz question for everyone on the call today. So there should be a poll popping up on your screens. I can see it, so hopefully you all can too. And the question is, what percentage of consumers are happy to interact with generative AI in a support setting? Is it 45, 67, or 75? And this is based on some analysis published by Zendesk, a CRM partner of ours, published in March 2023, just to set some context for it as well. We're actually quite split. Very split between the 45, yeah, it's very even, 37, 40, 23. Take one more second and then I'll end the poll, give you the correct answer. Okay, let's end it and then I'll share. Okay, so actually the correct answer is C. 75% of customers are happy to interact with generative AI. So perhaps a bit surprising looking at the results for this group here, but a very promising and confident number to reaffirm this trust in our AI. And like I said, that was from March earlier this year from Zendesk. Okay, hopefully the poll has disappeared from everyone's screens. So what does this increased confidence and emergence of generative AI mean for chatbots in particular in customer support? We believe that conversational AI technology has hit an inflection point. So we've moved on from this era of poorer bot accuracy where button bots relied on decision trees or inaccurate keyword bots. Even NLP bots are built on historical data, which emerged around the time of your Alexas of the technology world, or even the more recent intelligent virtual agents that could connect to your back office systems. So we've moved on from all that to this new era where generative AI has made breakthroughs. So the bots using generative AI require no training, and combined with this existing technology can achieve up to 60% automation rates. So in short, we're finally seeing automation rates increase, but the effort required to achieve this dramatically decrease. And moving forward, these are some of the key changes that we'll be making to our product in this era. Firstly, we'll be tackling total cost of ownership. So by being able to connect your bot to existing sources, customers will see instant time to value. They'll experience instant deflection and resolution of tickets. And by these customers, I mean the business is obviously not the end user. This is a customer of ours. And reducing this requirement for training and upkeep of the bot will mean that there's more focus then for agents to and the business to scale the impact of the automation solution. So spending less time on maintaining the bot that they've got, but on the improvements. And we'll also be looking to make improvements to make adoption even easier. Secondly, we'll also be looking at the sophistication of the tool or the configuration. So we'll be removing any limitations regarding which processes can be automated by our customers and looking at how we can bring together everyone in one bot that works for every team. So then you'll have your ops people, your content, your bot builders, they'll all be able to collaborate in that same tool. And lastly, analytics are very important to our customers. They want to be reassured that this increased investment is having a positive financial impact. So how can we build a visible ROI that they can trust, as well as making it obvious where improvements can be made to their automation processes to increase their ROI and customer experience? And then going above and beyond automation, what valuable insights can the AI tools provide businesses about the issues that they're facing? They've gone very granular, so let's take it up a level again. What does all this mean for customer support as a whole? Our bet is the future of support being AI run by humans. AI, generative or not, is never going to replace human customer support agents, but it will give agents and bot builders a faster, easier to use, more powerful technology at their fingertips. And the customer support automation will improve job satisfaction of customer support agents, removing the need for repetitive tasks, reducing their backlogs even further, and then giving agents this time to provide better customer support and resolve the more complex support needs of their customers. And here are just some of the wonderful automation champions that we work with that have reinforced our belief in this powerful combination of agents, bot builders, and AI. Both Patricia from Snooks and Iveta from TransferGo started out as customer service agents and have now taken over the role of managing their automation solution and are forging new career paths for themselves within this space. And Madison started off her career at Zendesk in knowledge management and is now a director of self-service automation and chatbots and a really big champion of our solution over at Zendesk. Okay, so that was generative AI as an overview, but now let's get into some real practical examples of how generative AI can benefit businesses, both employees and customers. So this is a quick sneak peek of the use cases that I'm going to be covering in more detail. As you'll see from a first glance, there are many different areas in which generative AI can be used. So from getting instant value, personalized responses, and those all-important analytics as well. So let's dive into them. So our first use case, getting started straight away. Instead of manually building out bot flows and spending months training your bot, you can simply connect your knowledge base and immediately begin having human-like conversations with customers. So no bot training is required as you use your knowledge base as your data source. So the bot will automatically pull information from your FAQs, your catalog, or whichever inputs you want it to, and instantly start deflecting tickets where that information is available in the knowledge source. So it will drastically reduce the bot's setup time, resulting in a much faster time to value for businesses. But you don't just want this instant bot to start communicating to your customers in a completely different way to how your agents would speak to them, or in a tone of voice that doesn't match your persona as a business. So that's why we're ensuring that customers have full control over their generative AI bot and giving them the opportunity to create a bot persona. So I'm now going to show you a 5-minute demo. So bear with me, but you don't have to hear my voice for 5 minutes. And the demo is by Reitu, our CEO at Ultimate, and he'll cover these first two use cases, showing you just how easy it is to connect the bot to the knowledge base, and then how you can configure that bot persona feature that I talked about. Reitu also touches on a feature called allowing answers outside the knowledge base. I need to work on our catchy naming for that, but that is a little fun experiment in the world of generative AI bots to be used with caution, as he warns. And in case you have any technical issues or it doesn't work, we will also be sharing the YouTube links for these videos. But let me see if I can start the first one.
Hello, all you lovely people. It's Reto from Ultimate. Just wanted to give you a quick update on UltimateGPT. So first of all, we made it super easy to add connect the GPT to a knowledge base. So if you use Zendesk, it's all automated. You can also dump a CSV file. So basically any knowledge base works now. And so I'll connect to Zendesk. I'll add the domain, the URL of my knowledge base. I'm going to use our own. I'm going to give it a name so I know which it is, because in the future, very near future, you can add multiple different knowledge sources. And then I'm going to set the import frequency. Let's put it daily. I'm going to update my articles a lot. I can also import private articles. So if there's something behind the login, I can just add the API key to it. I press import. Now it's importing the background. It'll take maybe a minute or two, depending on the size of the knowledge base. Then I'm going to show the next features we just shipped. So we now have the bot persona. So I can set the context who the bot is. So I can give it a name. I can give it the company it works for and a description of the company. And this description, this name, this company actually affects the behavior of the bot. So now it knows who does it work for and who is it. And then we have the actual tone of voice. So I can set the tone to be casual, to be long versus short, for example. So we have 4 different tones. We have professional, casual, enthusiastic, and informal. These are something that we've tested and we know they work really well. There's basically as many tone of voices as imagination allows, but we want to deliver them one by one. And please give us feedback for cool new ones you would like to have. Then the length. So do I want, for example, in here on the right side, I have the long reply. I can put it short, so it's going to be more compact. And then I'll show you later what the allow answering outside knowledge base does. It's a crazy dangerous feature that you should only try with your own discretion. Nothing is that actually crazy or dangerous, but let's test this. So if I say hi, yes, hi, I say, who are you? I should say Umi. And then, perfect. And then, can you tell me about Ultimate? I don't know the best one right now. And you can see I actually don't have to train this bot. So the knowledge base is now imported, it has access to it. There's no AI training required. That's the cool thing about generative AI. So now it should give me a casual, long format answer on who Ultimate is based on our knowledge base. So you can see it's casual. It's pretty cool. It's long format, so it's very descriptive, which I want. And it comes from a knowledge base, which is awesome. So I can change this to professional and short. We can see, can you tell me about Ultimate? Let's see how the answer changes. And you can also see that it changes immediately if I make these changes. So now, again, it's looking the knowledge base, and there you go. Super short and sweet. Maybe this is what I want, and maybe this is what I want to test. The customers don't get enough information, I can switch it along. Then they allow answering outside knowledge base. That's the danger side of generative AI. Just kidding. But what it is us allowing the bot to answer, the large language model to answer directly from its own knowledge. With our guard, there's always guardrails. But for example, right now, if I say it's no, so I say, give me a pancake recipe. So I can ask a pancake recipe, right? So what it does is it looks for the knowledge base and it does not find a pancake recipe. So it gives me my default reply that I set this up earlier saying, hey, I looked all over. I'm sorry, I couldn't find an answer. Maybe you want to talk to an agent. But if I set this to yes, can you give me a pancake recipe? Now, what it does is it should, based on the tone of voice, professional and short, it should give me a pancake recipe. So we allow the bot, there we go. You can see it's short because I have a length here. So it's very on point, but allow the model to give information from the training of the model itself. So normally in production use case, you would not allow this because you want to make sure that the customers only get answers from your specific knowledge base. If something is out of the knowledge base, don't talk about it. But maybe you have a bit of a different use case, maybe it's more salesy, or maybe your brand you just like that as your brand, that you have this hyper conversational bot. You just click this to yes, and it will start talking to the end users. We still have the guardrails, so no profanity, nothing dangerous will be allowed to say by the LLM, but it can talk about topics of like, what's the meaning of life, what's the weather, etc. Of course, it doesn't have access to the internet, but it makes the experience more delightful. So again, something fun you can play around with. And there's so much more coming out. We've actually released, for example, the ultimate block in our dialogue builder where you can use large language models within a dialogue, but I'll do a separate video on that. Hopefully this was helpful and entertaining, and hopefully you're as excited as I am for the future of bots and generative AI.
Great. Hopefully that's moved on. Perfect. So hopefully that video helped bring to life just how simple the generative AI bot is to set up. And well, if you want a bot that can give people pancake recipes, you've found it. So now moving on to a use case that's been more recently enabled. So we're 6 months past the launch of our generative AI bot, and it's starting to get really smart and integrated with the full platform. So this next demo covers the additional context and custom questions features, which you can use to increase the personalization of the responses of the generative AI bot. As we all know, the more personalized and tailored the response, the better the experience for the end user, and the more likely it is for their query to actually be resolved. So we'll first watch this short video by James, one of our solution consultants here at Ultimate, who explains 2 examples for both e-commerce and B2B that uses a combination of these features.
Hi, this is James from Ultimate with an overview of how you can use personalization and large language models with UltimateGPT. We'll start with an example on the B2C side, e-commerce. And as a customer, I'm going to the chat. I can see it's already greeting me by name. That's because maybe I'm logged in or it remembers me from a previous session. What I can do is then ask my question. For example, how long do I have to return something? Now, this is more of an FAQ type of question. So Ultimate can search the knowledge base, find the answer, and generate it for me as a user. But then we can also follow up with a more structured kind of question. So am I looking to start a return? I can say yes, and then Ultimate can, in the background, look for orders that are still eligible for a return, display them in a carousel. So in this case, yeah, I want to start a return for this shirt, doesn't fit me. And that's where Ultimate, using backend integrations, can generate and send a link to a return label, for example. Let's move on to a B2B example. So in this case, I start the chat. It also knows who I am because I'm logged in or remembers me from a previous session. And I want to ask a question. So I'm looking for an option to download my reports, but I can't find it. Now, in this case, the difference is that I'm on a free plan. So Ultimate can check what kind of plan that I'm on, provide the information to the large language model, and that can be used then to generate a response specific to my case. So here it specifies that the option to download reports is not available for the free plan. It's only available for the other plans. And we can then follow up with an overview of what those plans are. And here, if I ask for more information, we can also have UltimateGPT and the large language model generate an overview, a summary. You could imagine maybe even generating a comparison of the current plan, the free plan, and the premium plan. So here we have that overview, and then also the option to upgrade as a follow-up. So that's how you can use Ultimate to personalize these kinds of responses that are being generated by UltimateGPT.
And I actually just have one more example. Wanted to show you 3 different industries because there's a variety of different businesses on this call. So I'm just going to show you just 1 minute long, this one example for travel.
Another example of how we can personalize the responses coming from UltimateGPT is by using information from a user's account or purchase history or bookings to enhance the answers being generated from a Help Center article. So one example for something like travel, if I have a question about bringing pets on a booking, that might be different depending on the property that I've made a booking with. And so what Ultimate can do is retrieve information about the booking, what the policy is for that property, and provide the answer in that generative way. So each property has its own pet policy. For the upcoming reservation, only small dogs up to 10 kilograms are allowed. So make sure that your pet meets this requirement. And this is how you can really make these generative answers specific to a user's own case and make it all the more personalized.
Great, thank you, James. So yeah, hopefully that was, you're as impressed about that as I am. And I'm just now going to show you a bit about the background, how it works. So yeah, hopefully what you took from the demo is how powerful this combination of the conversational nature of the generative AI bot is when it's combined with that data pulled from the backend system. And the bot was able to give a super clear response to the customer that fully resolved their question without needing to speak to an agent. So here's a quick sneak peek of how that last example works in the background. What you'll see on the screen is a snippet from our dialogue builder where we build out our flows for the conversations. And here we're using the UltimateGPT node, which Reto actually mentioned in his video as well. And you'll see that there on the screen, the black box. And that means it's the generative AI bot. So in order to give the bot the additional context it needed to provide that personalized response, we created an API integration to the backend system that contains the details, in this example, the pet policy associated to that customer. And the bot will then use this information to tailor its response. So, really cool. And now we move on to the last two use cases that are more focused on improvements agent side that will help foster better customer experiences. So this first one does what it says on the tin, really. It summarizes chat conversations for agents to help expedite the resolution. So for those interactions that can't be resolved by the bot and needs to be escalated to a human, the bot will summarize the conversation that the customer has already had with the bot and include that information in the support ticket. So it saves the agent precious time, meaning that they don't have to scroll through a potentially lengthy chat conversation between the bot and the customer. It reduces frustration for the customer, having to repeat themselves with any information that they already told the bot. There's nothing worse than being passed around a customer support organization, having to tell your problem over and over again. I used to work for one of the biggest telcos in the UK, so trust me, I understand that pain. It's a very big problem over there. And then the last use case we'll be covering today, and I have a video for this one too. It's a very important one. It's that additional analysis that you need when you're using a generative AI bot. So AI in general can sometimes seem like a bit of a black box, and people raise concerns about the lack of control. So we believe it's really important that you can measure the performance of your bot, generative or intent-based, so the process-driven one. So we built a whole dialogue, a whole analytics page, which is dedicated to the analytics about the generative AI bot, UltimateGPT. And I'll show you now a short demo, I think it's about 3 minutes long, by Aaron, who's another product marketer here at Ultimate. And that will cover the various features that we have developed so far.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Aaron from Ultimate, and I'm going to walk you through our UltimateGPT analytics. Here you can see the UGPT performance tab. This gives you insight into your bot's performance. You can see how many conversations include responses generated by UltimateGPT. It also kind of gives you a sense of the return on investment and quick time to value. You can see chat volumes are broken down by UltimateGPT conversations, so conversations that include UltimateGPT, and then versus the intent-based conversations, so conversations that don't include UltimateGPT. You can also drill down into those conversations by clicking those links to get an insight into where you can improve and to find areas that will provide the most value. You can also see under UltimateGPT answers how often the bot generates a response to a customer question, and more importantly, when it didn't understand. So here you could, when it didn't find any context in the connected knowledge base articles in order to answer that question. So this is great because it can help you in, when you know where those gaps are, you can kind of improve your knowledge base over time and also improve your automation rates. So here in knowledge base article insights, you can we've identified the most and least used articles that UltimateGPT cites in its answers. Here you can see the future of space travel, innovations and beyond is used 10% of the time, or cited 10% of the time. You can also click all the articles here to see all the articles that you've imported. And then here in knowledge gaps, you can see all the unavailable topics in your knowledge base. So here it looks like order status comes up quite often. So this is an intent that hasn't been recognized, and you can see all of the different expressions that make up that intent. And here with the intent assistant, we can create a new one with all of those expressions. We can go ahead and also review those expressions to make sure everything looks good when we create this intent. And every time we create a new intent, we're going to end up improving our bot's performance over time. So cool, we generated an intent. You can also even build out knowledge-based content based on these knowledge gaps and really improve your automation rates over time. Now, keep in mind that this chart updates on a weekly basis on Sundays, and it also requires a threshold of 150 messages to populate. So get in touch if you have any questions, and thanks very much for watching. Hey, everybody.
As good as it was. Thank you, Aaron. Right, so hopefully that helped bring to life the analytics that we have available and how they can be used to elevate generative AI to implement even better CX. But what do all these use cases that I've walked you through actually mean for customer support teams? It means you can build a bot in minutes using the knowledge base that you already have. So no training required, simply connect the generative AI bot to your knowledge base domain. You can have human-like conversations with users. So it's a conversational agent that can handle both small talk, pancake recipes, and reliably and truthfully answer any question about the customer's business, as long as it exists in the data source, of course. Your bot can also assist your agents by surfacing existing knowledge to customers before escalating it to them, providing faster responses to your customers, and improving both customer and agent satisfaction. And then reduces the total cost of ownership as well. So compared to the current large investment from our customers required to setting up the bot and maintaining it, and as I talked about earlier, this is going to be one of our key focus areas in the future as well. And speaking of the future, what's next for generative AI, you might ask? And hopefully you have, because that is what I am going to answer. So we believe that the future is a hybrid model, whereby generative AI and intent-based NLU models work alongside each other to provide an enhanced experience for both customers and bot builders. So these hybrid models will make it easy to have hyper-conversational use cases without losing control. A few of our customers have already adopted this approach. And here's an example of our existing customer, ZenJob, who has added generative AI to their existing solution to create a hybrid bot model. A bit about ZenJob, for those not familiar with them. ZenJob connects job seekers looking for part-time work with businesses with the goal of empowering the workforce of tomorrow with innovative technology. They wanted to test generative AI with their tech-savvy customer base, university students, and were one of our first adopters of the technology. They were hoping to use the bot initially to reduce the amount of not understood messages. And so they decided to test the bot using our system reply. So essentially capturing any messages that came through that weren't understood by their existing intents and workflows. And then they also wanted to collate feedback about their knowledge base so that they could continue to improve that and improve the answers generated. They went live with their test on the 1st of June and immediately saw a reduction in those not understood messages. In fact, it went from 43% not understood rate in May to 16% in August. That's a huge improvement. And their bot handled rate also went from 39.1 to over 40% in August. And they saw a 10% decrease in escalation. So some really impressive early results. On top of that, they also identified knowledge gaps in their knowledge base. And based on their information, they were able to make improvements to their articles and improve the generative AI responses as a result as well. And they now plan on adapting their existing intent structures to embed the generative AI further within their dialogues and add more rich messaging features to improve their users' experiences. And we've even done some further future gazing with some of our partners. So I'd highly recommend checking these out on our webpage. We'll include the link for this landing page in the chat as well. So a few of the videos to watch out for are Poly AI, who builds enterprise voice assistants. It talks about the future of AI-powered contact centers with our CEO, Reitu. Another part of ours, Klaus, customer service quality management platform, discusses the future of AI-enabled support teams with Bruno, our VP of sales, and there's many more videos and good content to check out there. So please feel free to visit that page after. And if you can't wait for the future to come around and you want to explore the technology yourself today, we're giving users the opportunity to test our UltimateGPT product, create your own personalized bot, and we have a 30-day free trial. There's no payment details needed at all. You just have to provide email address, things like that. But it's currently only available to Zendesk Guide users. If you use Zendesk as a help center, we are adding more very soon, so worth putting your details in, even if you're not a Zendesk user now, and we'll get in contact once that's available. And with the full product as well, it is available to Salesforce and Freshworks users, as well as uploading CSV files, as you saw in the demo earlier. So I'll put the QR code up on there if anyone does want to go in, have a play around with the bot, ask it some questions based on your knowledge base, and we'll also put the link for that in the chat as well. And you'll get the recording, so you'll see it again. And that's it for the main content of the webinar today. Before we get into the Q&A, I'm not sure if there's still any outstanding questions. I have one more poll question for you. So at the start, we learned that 75% of customers were willing to interact with generative AI as part of their support experience. But now I'm curious to your thoughts. Now you've seen a few use cases, would you be happy to interact with a generative AI bot? So I've given you a yes and a maybe, a no and a maybe as well. So yeah, just curiosity to see how what the confidence levels are on this. Cool. Well, so far it looks very promising. Lots of people willing to interact with a generative AI bot, especially I guess if it means you don't have to wait, 4 to 5 business days to hear back from a customer service agent. I'm sure then we're all a bit more willing to take a punt. Great. Yeah, perfect. Very promising. Good to know. I'll end the poll. Oh, share the results. I guess you guys didn't see the overwhelming majority of 88% willing to try the poll. So yeah, great news. Okay, So now I'm going to ask someone to let me know if there is any questions, if Erica wants to come on and answer any, or have we covered them all in the chat?
Yeah, there are some questions, but one question that I want to just touch on now is the last question that came in about, are there any trade-offs about using a Gen AI bot versus one that would use like natural language processing, right? So essentially asking, what are the trade-offs between using a more intent-based bot versus one that would be purely generative, right? And one of the trade-off or the balance between the two, and I think that's something that Ultimate offers, is the fact that for our bot, it's not something that we have to choose, right? Our bot supports both. So when you have something that we want it to be more intent-based, right? So we had that question about what if we want to do payments, right? So what if there are processes that we want the bot to be a part of? For that, we do want to have that NLP part of it where, all right, the bot knows what to look for, the bot, we can build out a flow so we can integrate into other systems. But there's still aspects of it that maybe we want to have generative content in there so that we can then just be updating our main source of information that would live in your knowledge base or maybe those supplemental CSVs or wherever that lives. So it's really more about finding a balance between the two of where does it make sense for us to have like purely intent-based things? Where does it make sense for us to have that generative aspect to make our knowledge sources more conversational, right? And then where are those use cases where actually let's combine the two, right? Let's have our bot be performing actions and looking up information, but then using that specific information to then give more tailored generative responses based on what is found. Hopefully that answered the question.
Sounded good to me. They can't respond.
Cool. I also saw that there were some more technical questions about how our AI is set up. For those, what I would love to do is just get back to you after the webinar so we can check with our AI team, just because I'm not an AI researcher. So I'd rather check with those people at our company rather than give you something, I don't know, not perfect. So we can follow up with you after this. Cool.
Yeah, are there any others we want to tackle, or will we get back to people? I can't see how many you've replied to. There were a lot coming through, that's what I saw.
Yeah, we replied to quite a few. I think I covered the ones that we wanted to cover, and the ones that we haven't, we can follow up afterwards.
Great. Cool. Sounds good. Yeah. So we'll make sure we get back to anyone that we didn't get a chance to reply to. But thanks so much for the engagement and thanks for your attention today. So I hope you enjoyed learning more about how to implement better CX with generative AI. And if you do want to keep up with us here at Ultimate and get the latest updates on UltimateGPT, generative AI, feel free to scan this QR code. It just takes you to our LinkedIn and yeah, and then this recording will be in your inboxes very soon from CDI. So thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.